Thank you very much, and good morning to all of you. It's a pleasure for me to be here, and I'm looking forward to interacting with you about some interesting questions today. I will be polling you from time to time, asking you to respond to specific questions, which I think we'll find interesting and informative. And there's also a chat box which you can use at the end of the session to ask questions, or you can use while we're going along, and I invite you to include your questions as we're going through this material so that we can have the best possible discussion. The way I have set up the presentation, overall I want to emphasize the central role of culture to the effectiveness of best practices. And I'll say more about what I mean by that concretely as we go along, but the general theme that we'll be talking about is how it is that we create the right kind of organizational culture for safety to prosper and to be successful. Now, one way of sort of going at that is to reverse the situation and to think for a moment, just to get the right perspective on things, to think for a moment about just the opposite of what we want to do. So I'm going to be talking about some ways that you could create a broken safety culture if you wanted to. And I'll be asking you questions about the effects of various actions that you might take that would be negative to the culture. And I'm using that as a way to get a perspective on what it is that we need to do to create a positive culture. And so then the next section will be on leadership behaviors very specifically that create the kind of culture that you want. And then lastly, we'll look at specific steps that can be taken to change the culture, and also some brief case history material. So to begin with, I want to kind of paint the very big picture and see if we can get a sense of where organizational culture fits into that very big picture. So in this slide that you're looking at now, we have isolated the 5 primary elements of organizational safety. And what I mean by organizational safety is the set of variables in the organization itself that promote and create and correlate with good safety outcomes. So how the organization gets things done, its culture, its leadership, its systems, all of those factors are taken into account in looking at this slide. Focus your attention first on what we call the working interface at the bottom middle of the slide. So here we're talking about the relationship